Okay, thank you. So in this case, well, I am Jorge Ramirez from Tecnologico Monterrey in Mexico. I am at this moment, I am in Mexico City. And in my case, is about programming, as I was telling you, is how to use generative artificial intelligence to understand programming errors. Because in my classes, in our classes here at Tech, we have this issue that when students are beginners in computer programming, when they are starting to learn how to program, usually they are presented with this kind of mm, like feedback, this kind of feedback of the compiler, or you can see this is like really difficult to understand what it says. Is kind of like an not very nice error that will be thrown at you, and that they really don't know how to interpret. These error messages assume that you have some familiarity with the syntactic and semantic rules, that you understand a little bit about how to program and the meaning. And the problem is that they are beginners, so they really don't understand what is said here. So they don't know what's the error here. Maybe for me, that I have several years programming experience, I understand very clearly. For them, is not really not useful. And also, there are a lot of technical jargon here that they don't understand. And finally, they have this kind of cascade effect, like you can see here, that there are a lot of errors at the same time. And when you are a beginner, it's like very frightening to see that, very intimidating, that all of these errors, and I just wrote one line, and you have all of these errors. So that's a problem that we have when we have this kind of students that are beginning to learn how to program. So we were thinking how to solve this problem. We have tried this for several years, but now with these new tools that we have, these generative artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT, for example, well, that tool is able to give you some explanations on this type of errors. For example, here I put a question that I asked. In this case, is ChatGPT 4, and I was asking this tool to act as an expert in Python programming, and also to explain this error, because this is the error that was presented in this case in the output, like in here. So this is the error, and this was the explanation given by this tool. In this case, it tells you the problem, it tells you how to solve it, and it tries to explain you a little bit. So for some people, this might be like kind of a solution. Is like going to the teacher when you're in class, and you go to the teacher and say, okay, please, I don't understand this error, can you explain it to me? It's a little bit like that, but like very, very brief. And also these tools, they can give you more detail. For example, in this case, if you ask to explain a little bit further the output, it will give you like a better explanation. It will try to exemplify everything that is there and how it works, and trying to tell you exactly or a little bit more about that. So in a way, this was like, well, this could be a solution, because some of you said, maybe it was Professor Costa, said that many students work at night, like very late at night. So at that time, you are not there to help. No? Your office hours are over, no? Are finished for the day. So you are not there to help, and they are working and they need help. So in that case, we thought this tool could be of use for them. So, well, this was like our hypothesis. We said, well, let's try it and see if that really works. So we did that. with students here at our university. They were undergraduate engineering students of the first semester here. They're just starting to their degree, and it was the first time for them to learn the program in Python. Actually, they were learning structured programming, but they were doing that in Python. So in a way, they didn't understand anything about programming. They didn't know anything about that. And we had these three groups. And so I decided that two groups were going to be the control groups, and only one was going to be the pilot group. So what they had to do was they had to do these two programming activities during the term of Cs of 5 weeks. In 5 weeks, they had to solve these programming activities, and each of these programming activities was going to have 6 programs like this one here. And what they had to do was to correct the errors in the programs. So I gave them these programs already programmed by me, and they had some errors. So when they try to run them, they will have this error here. So they had to try to solve it by using the ChatGPT in this case. So that was the idea, that they were learning how to understand the output of the errors. So they were in a way, after a while, they were able, just by seeing the error, be able to fix it and not use the tool. That was the main idea. So once we had this, then we started with a test, a pre-test, to see if all of the groups had like the same level of knowledge about programming. And these were the results. In this case, this was the experimental group. And as you can see here, is like the media is about like 65, and this is, well, like the way the group is. And this group was controlled for 10. And in this case, as you can see here, these are really, really similar groups, okay, almost the same in knowledge terms. And for control 419, there was another group. This was a little bit lagging behind in knowledge about programming, but when we did statistical analysis, these were similar groups. So in a way, they were all similar groups. So we were able to proceed testing our hypothesis. So we started these two groups. We just taught them like any normal group, without the use of the GenAI tool. And in this group, they had to solve these programming activities using this generative artificial intelligence tool. So after they solved these two activities, and it passed about, they did that for about 5 weeks. And after that, we had the post test. And again, you can see that these two groups are in a way similar, but you can see here the the grades are like very, very different in this group. Something happened here, and in this case, you can see that the group, well, advanced in knowledge just by the normal teaching style. Okay, that's like something that you are expecting after a course in programming. And this group a little bit less, but maybe if you compare how much this group advanced from here to here, and this from here to here, you can say, well, it's similar, the how much they learn. But in this case, you can see that it's not only that they are having the lectures normal at class with a person, with a teacher, but also something happened here because they use the chat GPT version. So when we started like the statistical analysis of this, they are not different. Statistically, they are not different, they are the same. aesthetically speaking. But something really happened here, because this is not normal to have this kind of graph. So what we also did was a survey of some questions to see what they were thinking about uh, the use of this tool. And they, in general, they reported that they were feeling like more in control in programming. They were more confident with that. And we had these questions. For example, question 1 and 2, they were more about the use of the ChatGPT, because we assume that they are happy using these kind of tools, but are they really happy with the use of them? So in this case, you were thinking about, was it easy for them to ask this ChatGPT? And in general, we can say that, well, it was easy. And were the answer easy to understand? In this case, is just 34%. So in a way, it was not really easy for them to understand what the tool was telling them. But this is not clear why, because maybe it was because they don't understand the topic, they don't understand programming, or because the tool was not being clear. So in a way, that's not really clear. These other 2 questions, or 3 questions, sorry, were about the help. If the help was very good for them in the topics, if for them was easy for them to fix the bugs by using the advice from the tool, and also if they had trouble asking exactly what they wanted. And here again, you can see that the same trend, you can find it here, is the use of the tool maybe is not that easy as we think, that the students are very comfortable using these new tools of artificial intelligence, because here they report that they are not really that happy with the use of them. Uh, and maybe, and we need to do a little bit more research on that, why they are not that comfortable, because they don't know how to ask it, or because they don't know the the program terms to ask the question. Okay, but finally, in this case, it says, how useful did you find ChatGPT to fix the errors in your programs? And in this case, it's 78%. So maybe they don't understand very clearly, but to fix the program, that was easy. It was giving them kind of a solution, as Professor Costa was saying, that maybe they just giving or taking the solution. We are not clear about that. And also, uh, how useful was it for them to learn Python? Because that was the main thing. How useful to learn Python? And they thought 65% said, for me, it was easier. So in a way, it's like, it's true that the use of these generative artificial intelligence tools is good for them for learning, but it's not clear how they are using them, and if they are really understanding what the tool is giving to them. So that's the conclusion that we have, that in a way, even though all the groups were statistically the same, we saw differences. And in these differences, they were basically, the differences were that by interacting with this generative artificial intelligence tool, they had a different view of the same topic, and they had some solutions and some explanations that were different from the other group. And that's why we think that this was like a good, first attempt to use this generative tool. We still to do more uh, research on how to better understand the concept, or on to make the learning easier, and to better understand how to use these new tools that we have, the generative artificial intelligence, to the computer programming. And in general, I think that my students were like happy with that, but maybe I would like to have had like a tool that was not allowed to give them the solution, just the explanation. But that's something that maybe later we can try to have. Okay, so that's it for my presentation, and I don't know if you have any questions.